The Second Triumvirate, Augustus, Marc Antony, Marcus Aemilius Lepidus, and the Founding of an Empire. By Clifford, Alexander. Narrated by Jim D. Johnston. Chapter 1. Julius Caesar. The First Triumvirate, a synopsis. With the conclusion of the Caesarian Civil War in 45 B.C., it became evident to all that Rome's foremost general, Gaius Julius Caesar, had established himself as the veritable leader of the strongest nation of the ancient Mediterranean. Upon the fields of Pharsalus, Caesar had won a stunning victory against his enemies, and defied the odds that had been stacked against him since the beginning of the great Civil War. He had overcome the tribulations of the First Triumvirate, and defeated the cumulative armies of his combined enemies, the Optimates. Being appointed dictator in 45 B.C. was no easy feat. Caesar had witnessed firsthand the dysfunction of the late Roman Republic. He had experienced firsthand the violent partisanship that its system had encouraged. The first century B.C. had been a chaotic and troublesome time for Rome, and the fledgling empire had risked tearing itself apart on multiple occasions. Caesar beheld the bloodshed that followed the Marian Wars, whereby the victorious Lucius Cornelius Sulla ruptured the very fabric of the Roman state, and turned families against one another in a reign of terror. He himself was among those lucky few who had only just escaped being sentenced to death by Sulla. His rise to power in the years following Sulla was achieved only by playing the political games required to ascend the curial ladder. In doing so, he cultivated friends, squandered a fortune, and found himself the object of enmity of so many within the Senate house. Through shrewd diplomacy and careful mediation, Caesar brought himself into an alliance with the most eminent men of his time, Gnaeus Pompey Magnus and Marcus Licinius Crassus. These erstwhile enemies saw in Caesar a means to bridge their own differences, and accomplish their own achievements in the face of a hostile Senate. As 60 B.C. came to a close, the three conspired to join their political influence in an alliance known as the First Triumvirate. The First Triumvirate was a phenomenally successful alliance that brought the Roman state to new heights. By joining their interests and agreeing to support one another's legislation, Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus had succeeded in reducing the Senate to a mere charade. They purported to be operating in the Senate's best interests, all the while actively reducing the political capabilities of the Optimates faction. The latter faction, so accustomed to enjoying prominence throughout the Senate, suddenly found them incapable of...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?